Hello, Felindy. I'm here today to talk about why I feel your games need a localization system. But first, a little bit about me. My name is Brandon Dahn. I'm a game programmer with over a decade of experience in the industry. Most of my experience is in the mobile scene, working with small indie studios, mostly with Unity. But currently I'm at Relic Entertainment, working on Age of Empires 4 Definitive Edition. Same as Matt, I am not here in an official capacity. This is just me with opinions. There you go. Now I'm just... So, what is localization? Localization is the process of taking a piece of media and converting it for the culture and location that is consuming it. This differs from translation, which is the literal conversion of the meaning from one language to another. Localization involves translation, but it also tries to maintain the subtext, the emotion, the nuance of the original work. Jokes are an excellent example of why we need localization. They don't translate very well because they often rely on wordplay and shared cultural knowledge. And this is true even within a language. I'm sure we've all had that friend who invited us over to go play Goon of Fortune after hitting up the local Dahns. Yeah. The one person who got that. So, what I am not here today is I'm not here to tell you to add multiple languages to your game. You should, but what I'm actually here today to do is to convince you why adding this one simple system to your project is going to make your life, the developer's life, easier. And maybe we should start with a scenario. So, a little bit of warning, there's going to be a little bit of code on screen. I am a programmer after all, but I promise you do not need to understand code at all to follow along. Makes sense. I also prepared this whole presentation assuming I'd be standing over there, so hand gestures might be backwards. Okay, I have this label here. I want to say claim your gems. My basic instincts as the programmer would be, well, just go into the inspector in Unity and set the text of that label to claim your gems. But we're offering my game in multiple languages, so I'm going to have to set it up in code. That's fine. The code itself is fairly straightforward. It's easy enough for me to change, because let's face it, that's going to happen. And oh, right on schedule, the designer has come up to me and she wants it changed. The text is a little bit long, so we're going to have to shorten it. That's fine, like I said, it's easy enough for me to update. But the publisher has just come in and they've said that they want to change again, because that last change was mildly offensive. Whatever that means. And now we're adding French to the game. And I have to update not just this label, but I have to update every other label in the game, and there's hundreds of those. And my boss has come in and he says he wants to change the word gems to diamonds everywhere in the game, in every language. And I don't know what the word gem is in all of the languages, so I couldn't possibly update it all because it's build day and we're out of time. Okay. What I hope I just demonstrated is the perils of having to maintain things by hand. I hear all the time when I talk to people about localization that they don't have enough time or that it's just a prototype, we'll update it later. I think we just demonstrated that we are costing us more time in the long run by not having a proper solution. And I don't know about you, but I have never worked on a project where we have thrown the prototype out when we switch to production. Bosses say that we will, never happens.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about what we could have done instead. I'm actually gonna come over here for a second. So we're gonna make a spreadsheet. Love a good spreadsheet. We're gonna start with the key. This represents in the project where the text is gonna show up. Then we'll have our English, and then we're gonna have every other language that is gonna show up in the game. Then we'll update the code. In our code, we'll have a localizer. We will give it the key. It's going to give us back the text that matches the user's locale settings. I think you'll agree the code is simpler, or if you don't understand code, it's at least shorter. And most importantly, now anyone can change the text at any time by just updating that spreadsheet. And that's it. That's basically all I'm asking for you today. But from here, we can add additional features and complexities as our needs grow. We can add references, replacements, number formatting. And actually on that note, we're going to take a small tangent. One of my favorite things to talk about when it comes to localization is numbers. I was taught as an English-speaking kid that math and numbers are universal. My dad described it to me as, you can be walking around on the beach, pick up a stick, write 4 plus 6 in the sand, anyone, anywhere in the world will understand you. It's a nice sentiment, but it's not quite true. In the real world, different cultures will format numbers differently. Here in North America, it's most common to format the number 10,000 like this, with a comma for the thousand separator and a period for the decimal. But in Europe, even in English-speaking countries like Britain, it's more common for them to do it like this, the period and the comma the other way around. In Japan, this blew my mind when I found out, they don't separate it by the thousand. It's fairly common for them to separate it by the man, the 10,000. And then of course, that doesn't even get into all of the different ways that you can write a number besides just Arabic numerals. But because I've added a localization system to my project, not a tangent after all, because I've added this localization system to my project, I now have this central place where I can add all of this additional complexity to further delight and immerse my players. Without it, if I want to add something like localized numbers to my project, I'd have to go to every label in my project, applying the changes inconsistently, or missing it, or making mistakes as I go. Or, let's be real, more likely just saying, oh, that looks like a lot of work and it's absolutely not essential for my game. I'm not gonna do it. And that's a bit of a shame. Yeah. And that's a shame. All right, Brandon, we get it. We'll add a basic loc system to our project. Perfect, 10 out of 10, full points to all of you. And if all you're doing is releasing your game in a single language, you now have my permission to tune out. I don't think Ario will let you leave, but you can tune out at least. For everyone else, or for those of you who want to learn a little bit more, I'd like to show you a few more things related to localization and your user interface that you can start preparing for now. Every time you add a language to your project, you are adding new features and challenges. One of the most obvious challenges when it comes to multiple languages is sizing. Different languages just take up different amounts of space. And it's not going to be as simple as saying Italian is longer than English, or German has a lot of compound words and therefore doesn't wrap easily. As true as that feels so much. Every time you add a label to your project, you're going to have to think about how is it allowed to grow, what directions, is it allowed to shrink? Is the text within that label, what is its font size? Is it allowed to grow and shrink within the constraints of the label itself? If you're using a language like Chinese, Japanese, Korean, these languages often are shorter because they use characters instead of letters and therefore convey more meaning per character, but they're also much more intricate and detailed and therefore are going to require a higher minimum resolution. Is your user interface prepared for these higher minimums compared to English? And if you're releasing your game with Arabic, which I recommend you do, I think there's about 1 billion Arabic speakers in the world. How is your user interface going to support right to left text? You're probably going to need to create some sort of combination of first and third party solutions because surprisingly, Unity and TextMesh Pro don't support Arabic out of the box. And then of course, your fonts. Do your fonts support all of the letters, the accents, the characters and features that you need? If they don't, because they probably won't, are you prepared to use multiple fonts? When is it acceptable for you to change your fonts and dynamically load them at runtime? One solution that I've used a lot in the past is one font for each family of languages. So your Latin-like family, your English, your French, your Spanish, another font for your Cyrillics, another for your Arabic, another for your Asian, etc. What I hope I've shown you today is that thinking about the text and languages in your project early is not only going to make it easier, but also hopefully save you some time. Even if you are a team of one, even if you only have a single language, especially if you have a short timeline, add a basic loc system to your project. A little bit of extra effort at the beginning is going to save you so much time at the end. And what you are doing is you are buying yourself flexibility. Flexibility to make as many 11th hour changes as you want. The flexibility to add languages after your game blows up on Steam. the flexibility to reach billions of humans, and most importantly, so I stopped nagging you, Matthew. Add it! I tricked Felindy to let me do this presentation just so I could nag Matthew. And that's it. That's my spiel, that's my nag. My details are on the screen. Hold on 1 second for the questions. If I piqued your interest on the concept of localization, there's another full indie presentation by Alberto Garcia. This is the QR code that I recommend you watch if you would like to look at that. My name is Dahn, and yeah, are there any questions?
Yeah, so I wanted to suggest don't use language in your video games.
And that is also true. If you're very good at the Nintendo, I can show you how to play the game without telling them.
There's probably still a bit of localization necessary though, right? For like things like donuts and red balls. And then the other one is use an internet, well, like Esperanto or Tokipona. then no one will know. All plays on the same level.
Anytime the user needs to enter text into your game, just switch them from like QWERTY to Dvorak without telling them. Yes?
So is localization the same as internationalization?
I believe internationalization is the process of making your game kind of more general and broad for the planet as a whole. It kind of takes the location out of it. So making your game more English-like, more Western, would be a good example of internationalization, while localization is the process of getting it specific to the location that you're viewing. So that example of if you're just playing your game in English, it's not as simple as this is an English game. It's North American English is different than British English is different than Australian English. Yes?
I know Unreal has quite a good localization system built in. I'm assuming Unity does as well. Is there any need for custom localizer, or can you rely on the engine's localization, like localized string?
You can absolutely use the ones that are built into the engine. I haven't used Unreal a lot, so that's good to hear. I tried using Unities myself. It didn't meet all the needs that I wanted. Specifically, I didn't find it was quite easy enough. And the whole point of this is supposed to be easy and saving you time. But if it is meeting all your needs, if you know how to use it, use anything. Just make a CSV for all I care. All right, last one.
Like most localization systems already support like keywording, like the example you explained earlier, like changing gems to diamonds instead. Like is that like a separate thing and stuff? From what you've seen, what stuff you
Pretty much every system is going to support a key into the text that you want, and then they will offer some sort of like drop-in replacement, like hello, my name is blank. From there, the extra features that they give you are going to vary from system to system. So, for example, adding formatted numbers or replacing or doing references between the text, there's no guarantee that that's going to be needed or it's going to be supported by that system. Okay, thank you very much. Anything else for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.